Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Ali, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the common mistakes that people do when creating videos. Earlier, I shot a video of myself being on camera explaining all this, but I thought of bringing some visuals so that it makes more sense to everybody who's watching it, and it's easy for you to understand what are those common mistakes and how to avoid them in the future. Now, for the sake of the video, I've already inserted the elements that I needed, and so without further ado, let's dive right into it. Now, as you can see here in our first scene, we've got a mechanical shop, and then we've got a mechanic that's working on a car and he's fixing it. So looking at it, you notice that there's nothing wrong about it because we've got the right character doing the right thing in the right place. Now, let me show you where the mistake is. If I move on to the next scene, we still have the same exact place or location, which is the mechanical shop, but then this time we have an electrician. Now, the electrician should not be inside of a mechanical shop. Now, he should be somewhere else where he fits. So be sure when using backgrounds that represent specific locations or places that you have to use the right characters. And same applies to other elements like animals, birds, or anything like that. Just make sure that you don't do this mistake because it messes up the experience of the viewers and it basically turns them off. Now, let me show you another example for the same thing. So we're talking here about a gym, and then we have a couple of characters, a captain and somebody who's working out. So again, two characters that are doing the right thing in the right place. So there's nothing wrong about this one. Now, if I move on to the next scene, we notice here we have the same exact place, which is still a gym, but then this time we have a captain or character that's working out in the gym, and then we have somebody who's playing golf inside of that gym, which does not make sense to the viewers. Now, moving forward, now talking about the other mistake, which is using multiple fonts. Now, in this scene, you can see here that we've got a background of an office, and then we have three different texts. We have CreateStudio here, and then what can you create? And then at the top, we've got make better videos faster. Now, remember I said in my previous video that you're only allowed to use up to 2 fonts per video. So adding more fonts, thinking that you're basically giving people more variety, you're basically messing up the experience of the viewers. And again, you're going to make your videos don't look professional in any way possible. Now, the other thing I want to talk about here when it comes to the text, and this is a very good example because we have, a background that's, pretty busy and it's got so many colors. So when using text, you have to make sure that you make it more visible and readable to people. Now, for this example, we have this text on the top here, make better videos faster. Now, you can see it's hard to read because the background, consists of a lot of colors and it's not that visible to viewers. And I cannot see it, pretty well myself. And so for me to enhance this text, what I can do is use an underlayer like this one you can see here at the bottom underneath CreateStudio and what can you create. So what I did basically was just bring in the shape, a rectangle, and I resized it. And then, I decreased the opacity. And so it basically, it separates the text from the background so that your text is more visible and readable to viewers. Now, there's another way that I can also do this. Let's say, for example, I have, some bullet points that I want to, place on my scene when I have a background like this, full of colors, and it's not easy to add a text on top of it. So what I can do here is I can bring the layer just like that, and then I can go ahead into the color, and decrease the opacity, maybe make it like 58 or something, and then I can bring my text in here, and then I can add my text. So now you can see the text is more visible and clear versus if I go ahead and delete this layer like that, you're not going to be able to see it because the background has so much colors and it's pretty vibrant, and so the text is not visible. Next up is not following the correct color scheme or the color palette. So for this example, we have a text here that says color palette on the top, and then we have a couple of images that represents 2 different color palettes, and we have another image on the right side here that represents the color wheel. So If you'd like to learn more about color, palettes, or how to choose the right colors for your own brand, if you don't have one, you can simply just go ahead and Google, color wheel or how to choose my color palette, and you'll find so many articles that you can learn about to find the best matching colors for your own brand. Now, for this example, we're talking about existing brands, whether that's your own or your clients. So let's say, for example, this is your brand and this is your client's brand, and these are the color palettes. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that in real time. So let's go ahead and play with this, text and change its colors with, unmatching colors and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and, pick my first color. So let's go ahead and choose that red one. The next one, I may choose this, pink maybe. And the third one, I'm going to go ahead and pick the, this guy, for example. So looking at this, you can see here that I kind of messed up, the color palette that you're looking at. The colors aren't matching, so it doesn't make any sense. And so for me to do the right thing is just follow, one of those color palettes to make it look much better and vibrant. So let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to start with the first color, and let's say I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to use the second color palette. So let's go ahead and choose the second color for this one, and we'd make it red. And then our third color, we may choose this orange. So now we can see that we followed our color palette here, the one at the bottom, and it makes, more sense because it looks more beautiful than what it was before. Next up is using the right proportion for your characters inside your scene. So for this example, we have a coffee shop background that you can see, and we have 4 different colors. We have our freelancer guy, Tom, Mike, and the photographer guy. So notice here that Mike is the smallest in size, and the reason for that is because he's standing right across the door of the coffee shop. So he basically looks that he's the farthest out, from the rest of the characters. While the freelancer guy, who's coming from the other side of the coffee shop, he's a little bit bigger in size because he's closer to the canvas. Now, looking at Tom here, who's in the middle of the canvas, he seems to be bigger than the freelancer and Mike. And the reason being is because he is the closest character to the canvas. So this is the correct size or the proportionate. So it makes more sense to the viewers when viewing or watching your videos, and they look pretty normal. Now, looking at this photographer guy, let me just move this, across and make it on top. Now, this guy, the reason I put an accent on him is because he shouldn't be in that size. And the reason being is because he is coming from, the other side of the coffee shop, and he's basically, he should be far away from our canvas. And the correct proportionate for this guy would be like this. He should be positioned right there in this exact size, and this should be normal. So let's say if I want to bring this guy to, closer to the canvas, make him, move or walk until here, and definitely this is not the right proportionate. So what I can do is I can, choose the action as walking, and then I can use the scaling animation and scale him, from his original size and make him a little bit bigger when he's closer to the scene like that. So this basically shows you the right proportionate when using, characters inside your scene. And same applies to, objects. So if that's, cars, birds, or animals, and again, anything that's basically close to the canvas, just like Tom here, they should be in their normal size, while other objects or characters that are far out, like Mike and the freelancer or the photographer when he was there, they should be smaller in size. Last but not least, I want to talk about text visibility. So for this example, I have a background of 2 colors and they're bright. We have 3 different texts: CreateStudio, make better videos faster, and the website of CreateStudio at the bottom here. So the one tip that I want to share with you today is when using bright colors. You can't use, text with bright colors at the same time because they're not going to be, readable to viewers. Just like the CreateStudio Word in here, it's in white versus, make better videos faster, it's in black. And obviously this looks, much visible and readable to all the viewers. Now, if you look at the website of CreateStudio at the bottom here, it's also in white color, which is a bright color, compared to the background color. So if I want to make it more visible, all I can do is just go ahead and change the color from white to black, and now you can see that it's more visible. So be sure when using bright colors, let's say your background has bright colors, when using text on top of that, you got to make sure that your text color should be darker in color so that they're more readable and visible to your viewers. And so the experience is much better to everyone who's watching your videos. So that's about it for this video. I really hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.